leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Okay, we're going to look at FEMA-Camp USA and the proof that the federal government, owned by foreign banks through fraud, is preparing for a total collapse, depression scenario. The Pentagon admits they're preparing for it. And the first lockup of roving hordes that the public will beg to be locked up because the minute the welfare crowd doesn't get their paycheck, they're going to riot. Then the precedent will be set to have the military on the streets. And then the staged events will begin as a pretext to go after the political resistance to the complete economic designed implosion of the United States. It has to be destroyed once and for all to bring in the new system. That's why they're doing these culturally shocking things like having TSA actually stick their hands down many people's pants, or having cameras in school bathrooms, or having public schools announce, yes, we're watching your children over laptops in the shower when they're at home in Philadelphia. This is all being done to absolutely break your will. That's why Bloomberg and AP come out and say, yeah, the government took the veterans' death benefits for the last 12 years. They secretly made a deal to allow insurance companies to steal their life insurance they paid for. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and slash in half people who've served in the military for 20 years or more and have their 50% pension. You're not going to be getting it. Besides, even if you get it, it's going to be devalued. And they've done the psychological warfare actuaries that they know a lot of 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old vets, Marines and people are going to get violent, and they're going to use that to start arresting everybody. The globalists are sitting offshore. They don't care if cops and military get chewed up fighting old cops and military. Again, the globalist, people think of things in a two-dimensional warfare model of black against white. Black checkers or red checkers versus black checkers, or white chess pieces versus black chess pieces. No. The globalists, for thousands of years, fund all sides of conflicts, sometimes 3 or 4 sides. But people don't want to get that. They think of it as Ford, Chevy, Coke, Pepsi, Dallas Cowboys, Washington Redskins. And because of that, we're going to get hurt real bad. I'm sorry, I said I'd get into the FEMA camps and how they're going to get us to the FEMA camps. Oh, you're going to be begging to go to the FEMA camps. This isn't going to be like with Hitler or Stalin where you don't want to go. The way they're going to advertise it is you're going to be fighting to get into them. I first discovered this going to urban warfare drills 12 years ago. And I guess some cases 14 years ago. And they would always have the role player screaming, I'm an American, you can't take my rights, let me into the camp. Oh, yes, but once you're in the camp, well, you are biometrically scanned and troublemakers are taken to a special area. And that's, lo and behold, what they said with the Emergency Centers Establishment Act. They said that this is going to be an area, and it'll have its own jail and things, where people that are homeless en masse go. And see, we already have right at 50 million people on food stamps. They say 45, but there's another 5 million or so on supplemental. In fact, it's really above 50 million now. Those are digital food lines. Those are people with food line cards. 50 million. And see, they're still going to get their creds put on those. They're just not going to buy jack diddly squat. And these are entitled people. And what do you think they're going to do? Well, they're going to start rioting. You think this summer's been bad? I predict next summer you're going to see major fireworks. You know, I predicted riots all over Europe 2 years ago. This year. I'm sorry. I was getting into the crony insiders. And how our economy is going from a true free market to a total insider operation. If you read the Founding Fathers' writings or you read Americana right up until the last 50 years, everything was about how the big boys collude together to shut down the little people. And that doesn't even mean in business. I mean, they will, Big Agra openly writes laws to shut down small farms and ranches. insurance companies wrote the healthcare law to make 35 million people get their product and to let insurance companies and HMOs control what doctors can do for care to lower the standard. And Bill Gates admitted that. He said, yeah, we do need to kill grandma. Remember the cover of Newsweek, the case for killing Granny? I know it sounds crazy, but it was on the cover. Bill Gates said it. Don't give grandma treatment. Take care of 10 teachers. Telling you that somebody loses, you win. The minute you have that attitude, civilization falls. The minute you give into corruption just a little bit, suddenly it races through the system. Yeah, I thought everybody was like me. I come from both sides of my family, Christian, hardworking, Protestant type people who just wouldn't cheat anybody out of a nickel, pull over. And I remember being a kid and going, Dad, please don't stop. Please, no. He stopped and tried to change every person's tire that was broken down. Road trips were hell. A few times people tried to rob him in the last few years, so he stopped. That's all part of the collapse of society. But I come from goody two-shoes, you know? I'm a weirdo. You see, I grew up, and when I saw cops dealing drugs going to high school in Dallas, I got mad and spoke about it. So they let my dad know, we're going to kill your son if you don't leave town. And we moved to Austin. I guess I've kind of got a Serpico-type lifestyle history. We had Frank Serpico, the legendary detective, on Friday. So see, I guess this is what America wants. People think corruption's cute and fun. You're going to find out, folks. This country is going to be judged. You want to say 51 million aborted babies aren't humans? The government's going to say you're not a human. Everything we do, every lie we go along with comes back on us. And nobody should forget that. You think I'm proud of the fact that we're right about everything we talk about? No, I'm not proud of that. It's very sad. It's very painful. It's very painful to have everything I've analyzed coming true and only confirming. Only confirming it. And there are still a lot of good people in this country, and it's because you're blind and you're Dudley Do-Right, like people like my dad, because you're so good, you can't believe this is happening, and that's why evil wins. What's the devil's biggest trick? Convincing the world he doesn't exist. And I'm here to tell you, folks, evil exists, and we better get up on our hind legs right now like a mama grizzly bear, or we're going to get overrun. Every country on earth has had mass arrests, mass exterminations, and killings every 100 years or so. The United States has been a rare jewel, despite the fact we've had some problems. If you study history, ladies and gentlemen, you know what is about to unfold in this country. What is now beginning to unfold is the norm, not the exception. You need to understand, we now have a criminal government filled with criminals, or Dudley Do-Right idiots who are compartmentalized and don't realize what they're helping happen. Now, again, here's the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. New EPA rule could lead to rolling blackouts in Texas, PUC chairwoman says. Well, that's already what's causing it. It's mafia takeover. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, we are back live. By the way, The Nation magazine is reporting Stratfor disputes OBL killing in Pakistan. That is the headline. Stratfor disputes OBL killing in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Of course, it's a complete fraud. I have talked to the father of a Navy SEAL who my family has known for more than a decade. At their house, there's photos of the son in Navy training with his dad and all the Navy SEALs at events, whose friend is in SEAL Team 6, and they believe that helicopter 2 weeks ago was blown up to get rid of witnesses. And the scuttlebutt is that, yes, they did not kill bin Laden. What do you think? I just get on the air and make stuff up like that? But here's Stratfor, one of the most highly respected internationally private intelligence organizations that gets a lot of big contracts. And they are saying that they do not agree with the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency claim that the man killed in Pakistan compound by U.S. Navy SEALs was al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden. And they go through the full report at The Nation magazine. That is linked up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. I know Stratfor is based here in Austin, Texas. I know that they even do weekly commentary on our affiliate, KLBJ, 590 KLBJ. You can find those commentaries at, 590klbj.com. But I definitely want to get them on tomorrow. That is big, big, big breaking news, and we'll talk more about that after I get into the FEMA camp situation. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't just get up here and shoot my mouth off. Sometimes I get angry and yell and scream, and I probably shouldn't. But then I realize how successful we've been, and I say to myself, you can't argue with success. I think over the years, some of the ranting and the raving actually gets people to pay attention. In a sea of radio and TV shows and internet news websites, I think at the end of the day, God used my obnoxiousness as a way to actually break through the electronic Berlin Wall and reach people. I mean, Infowars.com is now the second largest alternative news site in the world after DrudgeReport.com. Then we have PrisonPlanet.com. And I could have never imagined that we'd be in that position with millions of readers every day, something that mainstream media would kill for. Now, we still have this idea in our heads. It's kind of like you're 40 years old, you're an Olympic wrestler, but you go to visit your grandpa who's 85 years old, and you still are kind of scared of him and think he can kick your butt just because it's grandpa. You remember looking up to him when you were little. And it's really the same thing with the mainstream media. They are not the mainstream media. They are a joke. Their numbers are dwindling down to nothing. They've lost almost all credibility. And that's why they're teaming up with the government now to promote the internet kill switches and shutting off cell phones during protests in San Francisco. And one of the big outfits, Facebook just got caught censoring a governor's site that criticized Obama. They're desperate. They're desperate right now. They're like a cornered rat. And that's why once a corrupt oligarchy's taken over a society, stolen the wealth, destroyed the productivity, they then go to the FEMA camp model. They go to the black uniform Soviet, Chinese, Nazi model, the Fidel Castro model, the Khmer Rouge model, the Zimbabwean model. That's the model about 95% of the time in history. They go to that model, and they live in their private palaces, and you live as a third world slave. You know, the dictator of Romania, Ceausescu, was interviewed, and they said, why do you only give the entire country power maybe 2-3 hours a day? And he said, because I might as well just charge him more for less. This is how I teach him who's boss. Same thing in North Korea. They enjoy cutting off our power. They enjoy restricting us. Can you imagine being General Electric and being given the waiver to build new plants and keep their old plants operating, but then to be able to shut down all their competition?